Okay, hello and welcome back to Enderal. We're continuing our conversation.
Yes. Well, there's not a lot to say anymore at this point.
Oh.
Well, there is, but now we're kind of reaching into the subject of not speculation, but kind of pre-planning. Because for the story, I do want to involve the Norse mythology gods as well, because at least those specific, like that specific time era and the reported stories of there, those are a little bit more grounded than those from ancient Egypt, because it's a little bit closer to home. There's a lot of, obvious fan work or fictional material already written in that period, explaining it to quite some detail that I could use. And also I find that it kind of fits pretty well. And there's a lot of, well, at least to European people, which we are.
Yep, we are.
This is a little bit closer to home, so you could relate to it just a tiny bit more. But it's also, like I said, if Osiris and all those people were a thing, the Greek gods, they were also probably a thing. The problem is like, why didn't they have any like guardians of their own? When did they all disappear? Like, what happened there? Now the story goes is that those Greek gods are basically torn apart by infighting and whatnot, which is kind of a similar thing to what I expected would have probably happened to the Egyptian gods. If not the demons' work, they probably would have ended up warring between each other. That's what happens when you put a lot of powerful people in one space. They try to outpowerful themselves. Same thing kind of happened with the Greek gods. Take the god of light Ragnarok himself, for example, who basically got betrayed by Mr. Loki himself, put on trial, and then basically just banished. And that was the most powerful guy at the time, or at least as powerful as you could be. If you're a god, I believe you're pretty fucking powerful in OP. Yep. Obviously, this is all highly skeptical. Probably didn't happen the way I just said it, but something along those lines. That's the most commonly recorded story. And even if it's the most commonly recorded story, it still just could be fucking wrong. You don't know. I wasn't there.
True.
Would be cool.
I'm trying to find out where I need to go now.
But yeah, so at least in the story, and this is kind of what sparked up this entire conversation to begin with, there's a lot of different characters with different perspectives that we're going to be ending up in. You can kind of not say. It's kind of similar in a way to what happens in Game of Thrones, where the story itself is basically all connected, but there's different like POVs from different characters, and they all have their own kind of story arc going on.
Yeah,
Same thing can happen in the actual story in which I'm writing. It's still one arc right now, but from the next chapter onwards, it's going to branch out. Now the first branch is gonna be pretty obvious. We're going to have the OPD branch, basically you, Sky, and all the other guys. You're going to be making it to the Belfast stronghold, and then from there on out, you're basically going to be trying to find out everything you can about the Order and your powers. That's at least the initial route for those characters. Now, characters like Oliver Shelby himself he's going to be revealed to be a sleeper agent in the final showdown between the OPD and the Order's strike team. And from that moment on, he's going to be the POV character on the opposite side of the story, which is a story arc I'm really looking forward to, because it's going to be difficult to really get right, because I need to really convey this guy's motivations and beliefs to make it seem realistic. But this guy is always going to have kind of a little bit of a struggle, because obviously right now he doesn't remember shit about his time in the Order, and after his reactivation, basically his re-enlistment in the Order, he starts to remember everything that kind of happened there, which completely opposes everything he's believed up until this point. He believes the Order is completely evil. He doesn't like the people there, and he's really a paragon of goodness right now. He puts himself in danger to help everyone, basically. And that completely contradicts everything he does with the Order. So you kind of get this moral dilemma of him not knowing which side to really stand on, because he doesn't.
Oh my fucking god.
When he gets his memories back, he doesn't believe that the Order is entirely evil.
Duncan, I have a question for you.
Well,
An adept lock, which level do you need to be for that?
I've no idea. Absolutely no idea.
Fuck. Yeah, Yo's tower is locked. With an adept lock and I can't even open it.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about picking up some lockpicking books.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, that guy's character arc, it's going to be pretty much alongside Josie's character, which is going to have a pretty similar arc, but different in their own way. Because, you know, she's never been brainwashed to, you know, be some sort of sleeper agent. But the thing is that Oliver starts struggling with that while he's, you know, continuing his work for the Order again. He's kind of confronted with his own core beliefs. Like, if he never enlisted in the Order, he remembers what he is had the Order not been in his life. Because he knows what he would have been. He lived that life for about 2 years. You know, he was with the OPD, he was helping people. He doesn't entirely hate everyone else, unlike most people in the Order. So he's kind of contradicting himself and his own nature with everything that he does. He's trying to find ways to, you know, make it work, to still believe in what the Order could be, because the Order, in the time in which he, you know, participated in it, actively before going on this undercover operation, basically, was entirely different from the Order it is now. When he was in the Order was being led by none other than our homeboy George Foreman himself.
Oh.
The Order was definitely not a bad thing. It wasn't, you know, it was still doing some kind of shady things, but always for the betterment of humankind, and everyone there would say so. Now, obviously, this is something that all bad guys say, but they were also, just as much as they were doing weird, some shady stuff, they were also just as much. Hey,
sorry, ceremony.
Yeah, they were also helping people just as much. And there was someone in the Order's high command, a little piece of shit called Philippe Renault. Yes.
May your path always
you know,
be even.
Didn't really agree with anything he did.
Yeah?
Now, this
What
is
do
the
you
time
want?
before the Order aligned with the Neophytes, or the Warlocks, or the Elders, in which they're actually called nowadays.
My game actually crashed.
Well, shit. That's not good.
Nope. It happens.
Yeah, but anyway, so the Order, they weren't really evil by the time, you know, Shelby worked there. They didn't trust the Elders at all, or at least Foreman didn't trust them, because, you know, you could kind of tell a bad person when you see it. Even though people like Shelby himself, they would probably be interested in knowing more about their powers, and obviously these Elders, they knew shit. But from what they could tell of these Elders, like, they knew a lot, but they definitely weren't going to be using it for the betterment of mankind. So they kind of kept their distance. And, you know, Philippe himself and his lovely little wife Helen, they saw an opportunity there with those Elders to really gain some power. Because if you could get basically demigods on your side, holy shit.
I think I know a way to spawn gold here.
Walk blessed, my sir. How
Well, if you put
consuming
gold
and
in the bank,
friend
it kind of
serving.
accumulates over
course.
time as well.
Yeah, I know. So if I just deposit all my gold on my 508, I just sleep every day.
Yeah, that's what I used to do.
Right? Money's in the bank. I also could... So, do you know any more quests that actually give you more shares?
No.
Because I'm actually very interested in the shares.
So I can already tell that you're doing a lot of things in this game that I never bothered with. Like, I never bothered with buying a house. Never really bothered with the bank, aside from just putting money in the safe to just kind of have it grow over time.
Yeah, but like we need to gain money like over time anyway for like this thing that we're doing.
Yeah.
Like if we want to get anywhere in this game, we need money.
Yep. Basically, yeah.
I wonder how much money I accumulated. Like we're 514. How much money will we get after this first night?
I don't know. We don't know.
I mean, it's a good way to...
Sir, I have a letter for
So
you.
obviously,
Hello, career. A letter from who?
A young woman.
but I don't know her name. I'm sorry. Now excuse me, I have
I
another
got a letter
delivery.
from a young
All
woman.
blessed.
Young woman. Booty call.
My surrogate to the last meeting ended and I would like to discuss a further proceeding. Maybe in the false Dockenicity. I'll wait you there. Greetings to Jam.
Ah. Might want to do that.
Yeah, I think it's really close, so like, why not?
Yeah.
I like doing like those side quests and such.
Just don't see the fucking point.
But yeah, so obviously Philippe was up to no good. Nobody really liked him. You know, he was kind of efficient at his job, so the order kept him around. You could tell, at least Oliver could tell that, you know, there was something, he was working on something, and that probably wasn't going to be ending up in a good way. Now, Mr. Foreman himself realized this as well, and he and Oliver were pretty close at the time. And basically, he just decided that, you know what? 8, well, that's great.
It's nothing.
It's
That's fucking pittance.
Couldn't even buy a pizza with that. God damn it.
I'm going to buy myself 10, not 10, sorry. No, well, I do actually need 10. 10 books of locksmithing. Just locksmithing, not lockpicking. I'm going to smith them.
Yeah, you need to make locks.
Everything
Pick them.
for the
You want to make the safest locks
soldier.
around.
Yeah, so that I know how to pick them.
Yes.
Oh, you only have lockpicking master books? Are you fucking kidding me? You absolute...
Come
Whatever,
again.
fuck off.
Well, no.
I don't need a master book, I just need a, I need adept.
May your path always be even.
But, yeah.
Yes?
Yeah? What do you
So
want?
essentially what's going to happen
I
is
just put them out for you to
Foreman
look at.
sends like Oliver away
Tell
on
me
this
what
like
you need and be quick about it.
knowing that some shit's gonna happen, and he's basically using this as an opportunity to keep, you know, his friend away from all the fucking drama that's about to go down. But you know, obviously, it's as the side effect that when Oliver comes back, and he's confronted by the fact that the order is completely changed. Foreman is gone. Philippe's now in charge.
Now,
The elders
I
are
just
pretty
put
much
them
also
out
in
for you
charge
to
now,
look at.
and he's
Tell me
kind
what
of
you need and be
trying to
quick
find
about
ways to redeem the order and make it, you know, as good as it used to be, while simultaneously, you know, making sure that he's not committing crimes against humanity, which is kind of difficult because that's exactly what the order is doing nowadays. And it will lead into some quite heated and fun arguments with the current characters as well, because they know they see this character, which they know is probably a decent guy, work for the most evil fucking thing on the planet. And it's going to be a pretty big moral dilemma. Now, these are only 2 of the branches that are coming. There is a third one in the works,
Now,
however,
I
I'm
just
not
put them
too
out
sure
for you to look
when
at.
that's gonna
Tell me what
actually
you need
happen,
and be quick
and
about
also
it.
exactly what I'm gonna be doing with it. Got some basic ideas. Obviously, the entire story is gonna be taking place on basically the UK. Now we're all still in the leftmost part of the UK, basically the basically in Northern Ireland at the moment. But you know, the actual island of England itself is also still a thing. However, we're completely separated from that at the moment. Now, the topmost side of, you know, the actual England, like Scotland and Northern England, that's been completely converted to a massive, absolutely fuck off, massive forest. And this forest is filled to the shits with evil fucking things. Like I'm talking raiders, outcasts, demons, not demons, but close to demons, like super mutants or some kind of bullshit. Like those goddamn creatures that we found in the city, but then there's hundreds of them. And it's basically literally hell on earth. What caused this is gonna be, you know, expanded upon later. But basically you can kind of imagine that it's basically radiation gone very wrong over there, which in turn caused all of the vegetation, all of the deadly toxic plants to go up, the mutants to go up, and basically turns that place into what you could only describe as literal hell on earth.
But my game just crashed again. What the hell?
Oh, that's great.
Then I just bought some books and used them. Like,
Well done. Guess you'll be buying them again. And using them again. But yeah, for that big ass forest, obviously there's a lot of civilization underneath the said forest, and they would prefer it if nothing from the forest would come down and basically nuke civilization again. Thank you. Can you not?
Thank you very much.
But that's a faction, and I don't really know a good name for them yet. At least in my head, they're the
What
Forest
blessed
Rangers, but
my
that's a pretty
Greeting.
basic name, which I'm going to be
Definitely
replacing.
more
But that's at
comfortable
least
than-
something to kind
What?
of give me
A
perspective on what
traveling
they are.
mage.
And they're kind
You
of
know,
like this story is
just-
equivalent
I
of the Night's
decided
Watch from Game of
kind
Thrones.
of bold.
They're a
yes.
group sent
But
into the
back
forest,
then,
basically
I
only there
didn't
to
care.
keep everything there
But I digress.
at bay.
Sure.
It's basically a
take
death
look.
wish if you end up in the Forest Rangers, because it's a band of basically cutthroats, thieves, and other social outcasts that don't really know a place in society, and basically come there to fight and die, so that no one else in the civilized wasteland gets fucking eaten by a forest.
Walk blessed.
Now in this case we don't have like a big fucking wall or anything or big
I just
fortresses.
put
This is
them
basically
out for
like
you to look at.
a selection of camps
Tell me
with
what you
patrols in
need
between
and
them.
be quick about it.
And it's not a place you'd want to work anyway. Well, we're gonna get a character there, and we're gonna be getting their perspective on things as well, because what's happening in the forest over there is pretty goddamn relevant to the actual story, because that's somewhere in there is where the actual demon is hiding. That's where all of his power and of her power, I don't know what the fuck it is, how do you even call it?
Walk blessed.
What its power is directed
I
from.
just put them out for you
It's
to
right
look
there
at.
somewhere. And obviously
Tell me what
this
you
character
need
is going
and
to
be quick
completely
about
stumble upon that, not know what the fuck they're dealing with. Because obviously they don't have special powers, they're just an average Joe. And over time, what's happening down there is going to become relevant to the entire story. And this is only the 3 character arcs in these character plot lines, because every character has their own arc, but at least these are the general plot lines in I would say the first book. And it's going to be even more expanded upon later down the line, with maybe even more branching paths here and there.
Ooh.
Maybe even extending it up to 5, but I'm not looking to really overdo it, because otherwise it's just going to be a massive confusion.
Yeah, no, I get that.
The only thing I'm kind of fiddling with now is, okay, so we're going to get that 3rd plot line, but that's really all I know. Everything that I've just told is kind of all I had in mind for it. Yeah, I don't have anything. I don't even know what character we're going to be using there. Need the whole character to deal with. And at first I was thinking, oh, what character could I use? But I could also just make an entirely new one. I mean, the character that has been pretty goddamn vital to every story we've had so far, hasn't even shown up in this story yet, which is Mr. Donkey Boy himself.
Think you still has to show up.
Been around.
We still need to
It's like I was kind of fiddling with the idea of maybe having him do the Forest Ranger stuff and get involved in the story that way, but I'm not too sure on it. Because another idea I had for the character of Duncan is to basically have it revealed that Mr. Shelby himself was basically Duncan all along. He just drew his mission and had his name changed. But I'm not too sure what I'm gonna do with it yet, because both options they sound pretty cool. Yeah, so story writing can be rather difficult. Especially if you work for the entire week and then the only 2 days you want to work on the story, you're sick as a fucking dog.
rip.
That's great. So yeah, probably not gonna be doing a lot of writing these days unless I could actually get better, but probably not, because tomorrow I need to fucking go to work again and I still feel as dead as I can be. So combining those 2 things is probably not gonna end up being a lot of productivity.
Let me put all my money back in the bank.
Hey, you're an adventurer, are you?
I got some scrolls. I got some of those magical learning books.
You're not from here, are you?
Hello.
I heard
How
you
may I
talk.
be of service?
Just let me access my fucking vault, you absolute nutter. 612. I actually earned money there.
Oh no.
Yeah, because I sold all the other shit that I don't use. Like I had like a double, like you know, some of those blueprints actually had like a second one of like something that I already had.
My sir?
So I just literally gave him the stolen one and I was like, that there. Where do we need to go? The false dog. Which area of the city is that? The main cavern or something?
I honestly don't know.
Let's just go to the marketplace. I mean, maybe from like the market. Ah, fuck! I actually need your money.
Well, yeah.
I mean, oh, but that is actually an interesting one. You know why? Because the this marketplace, like you would think like there would be way more down here, like in sneaking and like things like lockpicking. You would assume like those books would be like more in the inner city.
Hear my words, O path-abiding people of this holy
Because
city.
you're still like doing like some illegal things, and I would assume illegal things will actually happen there, right?
Way to call everyone down there criminals.
I mean, you would assume that.
Yeah, it's people like you that they hate over there. Those
Yes.
filthy nobles, they think we're all scum.
I don't think they're all scum. I'm like, it's just like you would really assume that like very very easily. Like they have to make a living as well. Like how like I would just assume like you would do it that way if you're like living down there.
Yeah.
Move along.
Inner city barracks.
I just had an idea.
Oh god.
Don't know how well this is gonna go.
Oh god.
I think this story is gonna be turning out to be a fucking clusterfuck of ideas. Like the biggest combination of everything you can think of.
Like you always do.
We've got, yeah. So we've got Osiris. We've got a post-apocalypse. We've got all kinds of magic fucking doodads. We're gonna get spaceships. That's already been established. We've already seen one of them, the Sky Knight that drops off the sender, basically.
The
And
Mac.
that ship has only made one appearance, and they're going to become more relevant to the story. As you know, you'll be getting your own, well not your own, but you'll be working out of one of them.
So the false dog is just in the main cavern. For fuck's sake.
That's easy. Let's keep that one in mind.
So you came. I was already starting to
Basically,
wonder
these
if that courier simply
spaceships are
took off
basically
with the money.
skyships for now, and
That
they've
would just
only got a
perfectly
very,
round
very
off my
little.
experience in this
think
wonderful country.
Somewhere in the
Take a
chapters it's
seat
been
and treat
explained,
yourself.
but not
Drinks
to the
are on
fullest
me.
detail because the character that did the explanation wasn't exactly a expert
So-
on them, because you know they don't work on one of them. But at least for as far as I've established at the moment, at least in my headcanon, the Sky
cut to
Knights
the
are
chase.
basically a work
I
in
want
progress
you to
kind
help
of
me
deal.
find the
They're
green
extremely fucking
Scarabaeus.
powerful and useful,
The
but
idol
they've
of
only got a
Morala.
very limited range because the
And
technology
yes, I
required
know
to
we had
really
our
operate them
differences.
just isn't
Sorry for
quite
what I
there
said to you
yet.
back there in the sickle, but
They're
I
on
was
the
just so
they're on the
angry
verge
at
of a
that arrogant
breakthrough
old
to really
fool of a
get them running.
guildmaster.
But they're
We're
not
only
quite there
following
yet.
your
That's the
orders,
reason
and
as
I
to why
understand why you didn't
the
tell me
Forest
what was
Rangers,
going
for
on.
example, are so
In
useful
any
as
case,
they are.
the fact that the Scarabaeus
Because
has
the
been
Sky Knight
stolen
cannot
nullifies
ever
any potential business we could have
traverse
done
off
with
of
the
the
golden
mainland.
sickle.
Like they
Simply put,
can't get to
there's no
the
longer any reason for us to
actual
put up
England.
with
They can't
Delorean
make
and his
that leap over the water in
complicated
between because
character.
their fuel range just isn't there yet. Which means when you put that into perspective,
Simply put,
it's
yes.
not that
But
they
before
can't
you
really
say
get
anything,
far.
know that I have
That
found
means,
out something
and that's
else
only
that
because
changes
they're
the
running on their
situation
backup
entirely.
generators. Because every single Skyline
Delorean
would
is
have
holding
been
something back from you.
have like a
Something
nuclear
vital.
power plant, but
Before I
because
tell
they
you
know
what
that's
it is,
pretty
however,
easy to get right, and
I want your promise
the
that you
world's
will
already
help
been
me.
destroyed by nuclear power. We want to avoid that from happening again. Let's be extra careful that we do this right.
Two things.
So they've all been outfitted with
Firstly,
a nuclear
we'll string
reactor, but
Delorean
it's just been
along.
offline the
He
entire
must
time
not
until
learn
it's been
about our agreement
confirmed
until the
to be
very
working
end.
properly and
Just ignore
safely.
his appeals.
Because they've only got their
Secondly,
backup generators to
on,
run off of.
The two of us
And
will work
basically
together.
with a limited amount of
in
fuel
every
to go on
way.
top of that, because obviously when they've got their nuclear power generator going up, they basically generate their own fuel as well. They'll still run out eventually, but far
I have a question for you.
longer. Go ahead.
Shall I trust the Jam, or shall I say like, hey, sorry, no chance, I will not backstab the golden sickle?
That's really a choice for you.
Yeah, but like,
I personally went with her side because she's a cute girl, and it's very easy for me to switch sides if a cute girl's asking it. Only thing I know is that you get a pretty satisfying ending if you side with her, aka like a sort of mini romance. So that's always pretty sweet.
money bonuses, do you get those?
What?
Do you get any money bonuses?
I think those are kind of the same no matter what you go with.
Yeah, but I'm just asking like if you got any bonuses like in money.
I don't know.
Okay, well, fine, you have my word.
That's what I wanted to hear. So, where do we start? Yes,
But
right.
yeah, so
DeLorean.
eventually in the story,
We have
the
reliable information that it was
those
DeLorean
Sky
who was
Knights, they're
behind the
going to get
ambush.
their big ass
This
upgrade.
entire-
They're going to be able to travel the world basically. I don't know exactly when that's gonna happen, but that's still not the end of it.
Joe.
Because
it was
each
planned.
Sky Knight has also been
He
basically
wants to
built
put the
with
blame
the
on us
idea
so
of
that he can
being
keep both the
able
Scarabaeus and
of
the
going
money.
into space eventually. And basically that's going to be
Pretty
happening in
much.
one of the later
But I like
books,
to
I
consider
imagine,
myself
that
a person of
there's
reason,
going to be an actual space
which is
race
why
between
I need to be 100%
the OPD or
sure.
whichever faction we're
This
in
is
at
where
the
you
time.
come
I don't
in.
fucking give a
Our
shit.
informant has told us that
Might as
there's a
well
small
destroy the
hideout
OPD
near the
eventually.
harbor,
I just don't know
which is
yet.
where the assassins you fought off at the
And,
ambush site
well,
hide.
the Order probably. 'Cause they're
I
also
want you
going
to
to
go
get
there and search
their
their
own
camp for
version
something that
of the
proves
Sky
the
Knight,
Sickle's
which is
guilt in
basically
this.
a beefed up version of the Sky Knight, a
Good.
far more terrifying
Here,
version
I'll mark the
of the Sky
location of the
Knight.
hideout on your
However, they're
map.
going to have limited numbers of them, whereas
Meet
the
me
Sky
here once
Knights,
you've
they're
found something.
pretty common.
And
Well, not now,
thanks.
but they will be.
I appreciate your help in this.
You'll see them every fucking blue moon. And compared to the Sky Knights, you'll see those fucking everywhere. Now, fun fact is, for the moment, I haven't really drummed up a design for them, but at least the way I picture them. And I find this way to really make a lot of sense as well. The way I picture these ships is the Sky Knights are heavily based off of the Anaconda from Elite.
So
As
you
well,
came.
as
Take a
their
seat
design
and treat
purpose
yourself.
and their overall
So-
look. And the Order ship, which doesn't have a name yet, is basically the same thing, but then with the Federal Corvette.
I really need that new
I would have used the
license
cutter,
for my
but I
hair.
don't believe the cutter kind
Let's
of
cut to the
fits.
chase.
Like
I want
it
you
just
to
looks
help me
too
find the
fancy for
green
a post-apocalyptic
Scarabaeus.
story, and
The
those
item
two
of
other ships,
Morala.
they make sense.
And yes, I know we have our differences.
Ships
Sorry for what
also
I said
makes
to you
a
back
lot of
there in the
sense,
sickle, but
because
you're
obviously
only
the Sky
fault.
Knights,
In any
as
case, simply
explained in the
put,
story itself,
there's no longer any
they're
reason
supposed to be like this
simply put,
vertical
DeLorean is holding something
platform
back
for
from
the
you.
OPD to work off of. They're not supposed to be just
Secondly,
combat related. They're
from now on,
heavy-duty transports, they're
by the
scouts,
name of
they're
the sun, don't
quick
be
first
so
responders.
theatrical.
They're
I'm not
quick,
asking you to
agile,
poison his food or
they
kill
carry
his
a lot of fucking
kittens,
shit,
but simply to help
and
me.
they can hold
And
their own in
believe
the fight.
me, you know nothing about this man.
And there's a lot of them,
Think it
so that
over.
kind of makes up for their lack of combat efficiency, so to speak. Now, in comes the Order with their Federal Corvette.
Your
And the Corvette,
choice.
as you know, that's a purebred damage dealer. There's no on a one-on-one fight. The Sky Knights are fucked, but because there's not a lot of those, let's just call them Corvettes for now. The Sky Knights will have an advantage if they bring the numbers.
Yeah, I'm quickly doing like a double thing here. I've saved after the first conversation, actually gone back to side of the other guy. Are we doing both things on
Well,
stream?
well. The venerable sunshine.
But like my eventual choice is with her. This is just to be like, hey, yeah, I want to see like what both sides give.
Man, I get it. I get it. But yeah, so anyway, at least like the look of the two ships, they kind of fit. The explanation for both ships, they kind of fit, because obviously when you've got limited materials to make as much ship as your enemy has, you're going to have to make sure that the ships you do have
Hear my
are better.
words, O path
That's
of
exactly what
people of this
Japan
holy
did in
city.
World War II. They were going to go to war with America, and America had a massive fleet of ships. And those were they had production numbers that Japan was never going to be able to basically defeat. So they opted, instead of making a lot of good battleships, make
We
a
will keep
few
an eye on her.
really good battleships.
Thank you for your help, my
Which
sir.
is kind of sad
come
because
by.
those battleships
I
got
was just
absolutely
about to
fucking
send a
annihilated.
messenger.
But alright,
There's news.
they never even got the chance to fire their main guns because they were basically
What?
cornered by an aircraft carrier, and they were like, YOLO, torpedo, dead. Well,
That snake isn't above anything.
let's hope that
is
doesn't happen
she?
in the story.
Thank you for remaining loyal. I expected no less.
But
We recently
anyway,
received a
so we've
letter
got this
from an
coming, so we've
internal
got a
source
pretty
within the Blue Islands coalition
diverse
itself.
range of subjects in the
One of
story already.
Ornelis's men, it seems.
We've got post-apocalypse, we've got Norse mythology,
We were
we've got
right.
ancient
The
Egypt,
Blue Island
we've got
coalition
magic,
was
we've got
behind the
we've got
attack.
spaceships now, meaning
They
it's
plan to
we'll
steal
get
the
space.
Scarabaeus.
And I was
put the
thinking, well,
blame on us
let's
so
add
they could
another
leave without
variable
paying
to
a
this
single
list of
penny for
impossible
it.
things to combine. What? Yeah, like if we've got magic, which is basically a fantasy thing, what is another fantasy thing that we could use? What about fucking elves? Let's use elves. Let's go absolutely stupid and just combine all the dumb things we could. And for what I'm thinking, like, I'm not thinking elves like high elves. There's elves from Lord of the Rings that are really fucking cool. I'm thinking more like the Dragon Age kind of elf. Like the elf that's a little bit smaller in frame and kind of looked down on. Like, you are a peasant, sir.
Okay.
You are awful.
There's an achievement for siding with both sides.
Alright.
So I'm
Well,
glad
you're
actually.
going to be doing it anyway.
Yep. Well, no, I've actually looked at it. Like the Lion's Roar, which is 1.5% of the people, and then there is the Scorpion's Tail, which is 5.5% of the people.
Alright.
5.6 even. Oh no, 5.5. 5.6 is part of something. So yeah, I'm practically just. Are we doing both sides?
That's good.
I haven't told you that yet, have I? We were right. It was Chilean
But yeah,
poison.
so I'm thinking something along the
And
lines of
yes,
those
theoretically,
annoying
the
ass
assassins
like
could have
Dragon
brewed
Age
it
kind of
here in
elf,
Enderal
kind of the elf
themselves.
that's
But
literally
to do
not
that, they would have needed money for the
anything better
ingredients.
than humankind, like the
and
fucking
a
Lord of the Rings
skilled
elves that are
alchemist,
just they basically
both
walking
of which are
Jesus.
very costly. Someone who
And
brought the poison over from Chile.
Obviously, they're
however,
not. I
that's
wouldn't
much more
explain. I wouldn't
likely.
describe them as elves in a way that they're an entirely different
Find
race.
proof
That
we can
they're-
show to the
in their
god.
roots, they're
They
probably
will
still
take care
human.
of the rest.
And
Our informant
the
said
elves in
something
the story
else
was
in
kind
his
of
letter.
diverse.
There's a small cave
diverse
just
from
on
the
the
norm.
outskirts
Like,
of
they're not,
Ark, and an exchange is supposed
their
to
own
take
race. They're
place there
basically
very
humans, but
soon.
then mutated
The
in a way.
Scarabaeus.
They're basically mutants, which would make sense in the in the
Yes.
frame
And
of
to
the
cut to
story as we
chase,
have it.
I
But,
want you to do this.
There's a lot of mutated
Go to the
things around
cave and
nowadays.
scout it out. Look for hard evidence.
Now these people primarily
Anything that
would
tells
live
us when
probably
they
in
plan to
the
do the exchange.
in the northern forest. That
Here.
is a
This is
pretty
where the
elfy
cave should
place
be
to live, I would
located.
say.
Now go.
And that could
And be
this could
careful.
tie in with
And yours.
the Forest Ranger
Yeah.
storyline, because those people are basically out to basically wipe out
Greetings.
everything that's mutated, because they're a blight on the world. They're literally gonna go and kill everything.